Hey friends, welcome to my Tidbit Tuesday. And really, whether you're watching this on a Tuesday or any other day, I just hope that you find it helpful, that somehow it empowers you, and that it lifts, accentuates, or honors the greatness that's already on the inside of you. So here goes. How do we choose not to be offended? Those were the instructions that I received one night from a big sister mentor type of friend to me. She said, choose not to be offended. Now, this was at the end, the very end of a conversation that I'd share with her, in which I share with her some details about a situation that I found very hurtful. And I got her insight, got her great coaching, and just, was absorbing that, processing, thinking through it. And then an hour or so after our conversation, she literally shot me a text that says, choose not to be offended. And I'm thinking, now she knows all of the details of how this particular incident has made me feel. She knows that it's something that I found very hurtful. Icky, just the details of it just left me emotionally not in such a good place. And she's just walked me through it. So, what about this would make her say to me, choose not to be offended? But because I trust her, I know that she loves me, I know that she coaches and mentors and just is here for my life. I didn't dismiss the thought. I just didn't quite know what to do with it at that time. So I mulled it over and over in my mind for a couple of months. And with all transparency, I literally just got a bit of clarity about how to choose not to be offended, perhaps about a week ago. So this is like hot off the presses, and I'm excited to share just in case it could help someone else. Choose not to be offended. And I have heard like forever and a day, like this whole thing about how forgiveness is it's not for you, it's not for the other person, it's for you to be set free, and all of those nuances about that. But what does that actually look like? So here's what I got last week. It came to me that there is a difference between circumstance and character. And when we are navigating the option of not being offended, of learning how to forgive, we literally have to know the difference between circumstance and character. And here's what I mean by that. When something normally happens, my first default type of response is to look at it from a very circumstantial perspective. And when you're combing through something through a circumstantial perspective, it can become very personal because you're combing through that and you're trying to look for details like why did this happen to me, why would the person choose to do this to me, after, especially if you believe you've done good towards the other, after what I've done or who I've tried to be, why would the person say or do certain things? And so you're combing through it and you're trying to look for details, you're trying to analyze it and assess it and figure it out, and it just becomes very personal. And if at the end of that investigation, if you can't find enough evidence to justify that behavior or those words or whatever has occurred, it is easy to take it very personal and to find offense. It is very easy to not find an answer that justifies this particular thing happening. In this scenario, 2 plus 2 does not equal 4, and you can take on an offense because you can literally feel as if this right here, this was a foul. This was a bad move, and I am offended by it. But my mentor sister friend said, choose not to be offended. And so I had to look at the other side. Then there is character. So circumstance is navigating what has occurred and looking through it through a very personal lens, trying to figure out why you were the subject, why you were the target of whatever negative behavior or negative words have occurred. Character says, let me step back from the circumstance and look at character. Let me start with my own character. Let me look at whatever narrative is being told, whatever actions have been done, to see if my character warrants that. For example, if the person has started a rumor and you are hearing that the person has said that you're a liar, right? You can look at your character, at your own track record, at your own reputation among reputable people, and determine, is that really my character? Now, if the answer to that is yes, then that right there shuts down all room for offense. Because if the answer is yes, you may not like that the person said it, but if it is true of your character, then that is where the focus point should be, working on that character issue in yourself. If the person has said that you're a cheater, if the person has said whatever it is, and the answer to that when you examine your character is yes, that is true. Whether I like that it's said or not is not a point of discussion. If it is true, then I have to work on my character. There's no room for offense. If the answer is no, then you know your character and you can choose not to give your energy nor your emotion to that. In fact, you can look deeper and now you can examine the character of the other person, not for a judgment space, but for you to just get clarity on how to navigate not being offended. For example, if your original thought or offense lied in thinking, this person lied on me, that's very personal. That's where the offense comes in. But if you step back from it and say, whoa, 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 does this person in general just lie? Have I heard about them lying on so and so and lying on so and so and lying about this? Then if the answer to that is yes, then I can stop making it about the person lying on me and I can just be more aware that this person lies. And the truth of it is, I'm just going to pray for them. I'm going to wish them well. Hope they work on that between them and their God. Hope they get that character issue together. But that character flaw is not about me. It's not personal. I can choose not to be offended. I don't have to say this person gossips about me. Does this person gossip? If the answer to that is yes, and that's just a character issue that person will have to work on. This person criticizes me. This person found fault with me. Is that a character issue? Are you aware that that person finds fault with this person and that person, this thing and that other thing? That's a character thing. And you don't have to personalize it and make their character issue about you. That becomes very freeing because in that you become empowered to choose not to be offended. In that, you can begin the steps to choosing to forgive and not necessarily doing it for the other person, but doing it for yourself. So in the meantime, what about that hurt? What about those negative emotions? Well, the reality is choosing not to be offended, but being hurt are not one and the same. So yes, you can say, this really hurt my feelings. This got to me. This bothered me. Yes, I'm hurt by it. That is my reaction to what has occurred. But I'm going to choose not to be offended. That is about my actions moving forward. It doesn't mean that I have to operate the same in that same capacity or space with the person who has enacted the hurt in your life. But I can choose to move forward. For example, I may not choose to go out and have dinner or this long hangout moment with the person, but I can choose to say, but I'll pray for them. I really do root for them. I want them to be well. I want them to do the self-work to be in a better place. So that this character thing that they have displayed over and over again, at some point, they come to the end of that. And some people worry that in choosing not to be offended or in choosing to forgive, that sometimes it's like it's letting the person off of the hook or it's letting them get away with something. And I'm just going to be honest, it's not about that. It can feel like that, but it's not about that. It's about you creating the space for you to be well. And so you have to flesh out. So what does that look like? My mentor asked me, so what does that look like for you to be well? For somebody who perhaps says, you know what, I really want to get them, I really want to go off. You would have to call a trusted friend and tell them, this is the way that I really want to respond, but I'm going to choose to respond differently. So that's it. Understanding the difference between circumstance and character. Choose not to be offended.